Georgia,
Yes, Chloe.
you empower women to build brands that last. What do you mean by that?
Anyone can build a business. Very few can build a brand. And I think that when I started business coaching, I realized that, yes, you need the strategy and you need the knowledge and the understanding and all the things. But if you don't have a solid brand, if you don't have a mission, if you don't have like strong values, if you don't have even down to like brand visuals, it's not going to last. It will flake in and flake out. And you look at the brands that are doing incredibly well, and the reason they're doing well is because they are brands. They're not businesses. Yeah, they are businesses, but they're brands. They stand for something, and that runs through everything, whether it's their copy on email marketing, or whether it's their community, or whether it's their actual product. The message is clear.
What does it take to build a brand that lasts then? What does it take?
Very, very, very clear vision and understanding of the people that you're trying to serve. So a lot of the time, I'm trying to think of like an example I can give. Say you're starting a clothing brand and you're not clear on exactly who the clothing is for. Maybe it's basic wear, right? Okay, is it comfortable basic wear for mums who are busy, who want to look cute on the school run? Or is it basic wear for Gen Z where we want a bit more cropped? Like, who is it for? And then build the brand around it. So build your messaging around it. Build your typography and your colors and your brand visuals and your values and your mission around who you're serving. If you don't know who that is, you are going to build a business, which is a clothing brand that provides basics. The brand is who's it for, who you're serving.
This is so interesting because a lot of entrepreneurs say that in order for a brand to be successful, the founder has to have a personal brand before building the business brand. What are your thoughts on that?
It's a big question. And the reason it's a big question is because it works. We've seen it time and time again. It works. However, when you come to exit, you have to think about what's your goal when starting the business. If the business is a legacy business, right, you want to hand it down to your kids, then yeah, build a personal brand with your name attached. If after 5 years you're like, I want to exit and sell this brand, they can't buy you. They can't buy you. So you'll become a bit unstuck. If you've become the sole marketing driver, you'll become stuck in, well, nobody wants to buy the business because essentially remove me and what have you got? A carcass. You've got a shell. You've got product. You haven't got the values and the mission and the messaging and what people actually buy into, which is the personality. So whilst I do think building a personal brand is probably in this day and age the quickest and easiest way to build a business, to build a brand, you really have to think long and hard about the long-term goal. So when I have clients, I think I take them 5 years in advance. So what is it that you actually want to achieve? And then we work backwards. So if you do say to me, well, I want to exit, I want to sell, I want to build a 7-figure business and sell it, I would say, well, let's not lead with you. Let's not make you the center, because if you do, you're going to struggle.
Is building a brand to exit in the end for every business?
No, I wouldn't exit out of my businesses like that. I think the reason why is because it's purpose driven. People go into business for different reasons, right? Go into business, yes, everyone wants to make money, but some people go into business just to make money, and that's fine. It's like, okay, if I said, right, Chloe, electric cars by like 2030 are going to be the main car that's sold in the UK. I am going to start a business installing the plugs into new developments. Yeah, I'll sell it. I'm not passionate about it. I'll know it will make money. Like, if anyone wants to take that business idea,
I know it will. 3 ideas now.
I know it will make money. That would make money. Am I passionate about it? No. So yes, I would exit out of that business. But if you're passionate, if it's your purpose, and again, that's a question that I ask people, like, what truly is your purpose? Like, what is going to get you up out of bed, even when times are challenging, even when cash flows through the floor? Like, what is going to get you out of bed and still give you that sense of drive and ambition? That's what you need to be doing if it's something that you want to be doing up until you retire, right? If you're like, I just want to make six figures, well, find something in this economy that people need and sell it, and then sell the business.
Right. Because I was watching a TikTok the other day and a lady was talking about how people should stop chasing their passion. They should chase demand. And I don't know whether you think someone building a business off of what they're passionate about versus what's in demand is what's going to serve them in the long run.
So, okay, here's where it gets a bit complex. So I'm an ex-professional dancer. And when I stopped dancing, I got injured. When I stopped dancing, the first thing everybody said to me was open up a dance school. And I was like, no. Like, that's something that, like, that's my safe space. That's my that was my happy place. I don't dance anymore, but that was my happy place where, like, as soon as I would come out of the pit in a show, which is like underneath the ground, and the lights would be on and the music would be on, I'd forget about anything else that had happened that day. No, you shouldn't make a business out of that because you'll end up hating it. You'll turn something that is your like solitude into something that becomes stress. So in that regard, no, it's like in the book, the E-Myth. Yeah, I believe it's called the E-Myth. He talks about a baker who opens up a bakery, but baking is her happy place. It's her place that brings her peace. She opens up a bakery. She ends up hating baking, right? That's when something that is your calm becomes the storm. So in that regard, I would say that that's what she's talking about. Purpose is different. Being purpose driven. So I help women build brands. I'm passionate about it, but it's also my purpose. Like, I feel aligned with, okay, why were you put on this earth?
Right.
What were you put on this earth to do? By saying chase demand, that's what I was talking about the electric plugs. That's demand. And if you want to make money, just chase demand. Look at what is in your local area, what does the demographic need? Where is there a lack, and serve the people or serve the industry. But I don't think in regards to doing what is your purpose, yes, it bleeds slightly over into passion. You have to be passionate about anything that you do. But I think that what she's talking about is if you love singing, don't open a singing academy. Maybe open a record shop. Right? You're still in your purpose, but it's not your safe space. Once you blur those lines, you'll end up hating it. You will.
So where does skill come into play then?
In what kind of
Because we're talking about demand versus passion. What about skill? Will skill help you excel in business further than passion will or demand?
Absolutely. Oh, you're asking me big questions. I personally think yes. I think that skill is it's important. You have to be skilled. But arguably, there's people with less skill who are doing way better than people with more, right? And that's where passion, drive, determination, willingness to take risk, that kind of innate fire that you can't teach someone. You can't teach someone how to have unwavering sense of self and self-ability. You can't teach someone that. That's something that you're just born with it. But skill is important. You have to be skilled. I wouldn't be able to say I help women build brands that last if I didn't know how to do that, right? You have to know how to do it. But what separates the very successful from the, and I don't like to use this word mediocre, but let's say the less successful, is drive and determination and risk taking and not really caring what anybody thinks, just being tunnel visioned on where you want to go.
Right.
And I think skill's important, but I wouldn't say it trumps all the other things that I've mentioned.
I decided to shift the narrative and ensure that we focus on serving women who want to leave employment and enter entrepreneurship. That's literally the journey that I came on myself. Left finance, left hospitality to pursue my dream of being my own boss and seeking freedom and creativity on my own terms. And that's what Her Wisdom is about. If you're that woman who's got that sudden urge inside of them, they want to be their own boss, they want that freedom, they want to have that confidence, this is the platform that you need to be on. And if you're ready to start your journey, you can start with my book. This book was birthed through the many trials and tribulations that I have faced, most of which I faced before entering entrepreneurship, some of which I faced whilst being in employment, and others that I faced whilst being a business owner. Be So Good That You Can't Fucking Break, buy the book. Talk to me about that jump from being a dancer to now owning a consultancy.
I know, crazy.
Yeah, how did that even come about? So tell me about how it was like dancing and then where that transition period came into.
So I've danced since I was like 2 years old, and it was a hobby that became something that I was like, I can make money off this. Like, and I always used to say, when I became a professional dancer, I don't dance for free. And here's where what we were talking about before, I would have people, performers around me who in their free time, like any free time they got, they would go to class. And to me, I'm like, why would I wear down my body even more? Like, I am happy with the level of skill that I've got. I'm not trying to get better. And I acknowledge that. Like, I'm not trying to be the next Misty Copeland of the world. I'm not trying to do that. I have a skill that I can make money from, and that's about as far as it goes. So when I started dancing professionally, it was very much that. I'm good at it. I'm good at it to a point. When my body gives up, I'll give up. I'm not going to push it any further. So I got injured and stopped dancing. And I came home. I was in Australia at the time, and I came home and I was like, okay, what now? Because I didn't have a degree. I didn't go to uni. Came out with okay, like GCSEs and whatnot. But it was very much a thing of, okay, you're going to have to start again. And in my mind, I was like, well, what transferable skills do I have that I can now utilize to make money? So confidence was one thing that I was like, okay, I'm very confident. I like, the public does not scare me. Like, mini mic interviews, like, I'm not bothered. I'll do it, right? And that's what dancing's taught me. You'll be on stage and your costume will fly off and you've got to continue. So I had started blending together like natural ingredients in my mum's kitchen because I was back at home. And I thought, do you know what? I'm just going to get online and I'm going to sell this cream. And it was like a natural, like shea butter, coconut oil, like natural cream.
Right.
But I knew I could sell it. I knew if I got online on Instagram, I could shift these creams. And I kind of set myself that challenge of like, can I sell them? And I did. I sold a lot of them. And off the back of that, I realized, okay, Georgia, you're starting something here. And what you're starting is a business. It wasn't a brand. It was a business. So I had to upskill a lot. I learned so much in a very short space of time. We had a lot of press. And I made a lot of mistakes, costly mistakes, one of which I spent £7,500 on ads when I didn't understand.
You said £7,500?
£1,000
on ads.
On ads, and I didn't know how to retarget. I didn't understand ads. I didn't know how to track them. I didn't know. I just threw the money, reinvest. Everyone tells you to reinvest back into your business. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to throw it into. Learn very hard.
Did you see any results from that?
No.
Oh, God.
No, I didn't. But purely because I did see results that I needed to learn. But I didn't see like major sales or anything. And that's a lesson that now I take with me when I'm dealing with clients who are putting incredible budgets into meta ads. And I'm like, okay, do you understand X, Y, Z? Because if you don't, find someone who does, right? So built this skincare brand and then kind of realized like I'm not actually passionate about skincare. This was a means to make money. What am I? Now that I have this business acumen, now that I know that I can build a business, what am I passionate about? So I started a female community called the First Females Club. And off the back of that, a lot of the women who were attending the events were asking me for advice. Georgia, how have you gone from being a dancer to now not working? You are working, you run businesses, but not working in employment.
Yeah.
Can you teach me? And these were people who were therapists in the NHS, or they had like something that a burning desire to start a business, whether it was like going into hairdressing or aesthetics, but they didn't have the skill set to do it. They didn't have the knowledge to do it. So I started coaching these women. I call it coaching. Then it wasn't coaching. I was just sitting down with them and giving them the information I had for £20 a month. £20, right? And I got some really amazing results. And that's when I was like, okay, no, this is your purpose. This is what you enjoy. This is what gets you out of bed in the morning. Like, my husband has to tell me, even now to this day, if it's a Saturday morning, don't pick up your work phone, because I will respond. I will respond because I'm passionate, and I feel like it's my calling to help people gain financial freedom. If I can do it, and I'm a dancer who has no university degree, then I'm damn sure you can do it, right? So off the £20 a month coaching, I started my first coaching business, which was called Big Oak Trees. And the reason I called it that was because my mum always says, out of small acorns grow big oak trees. So I started coaching and put out like a couple of packages and whatnot. Again, incredible results. And naturally, it evolved into, because of my personal brand and building up my personal brand. I didn't even realize I was building a personal brand. People were asking me to come and speak on panels and talks and this and that. And I was like, yeah, I'm confident. I can talk for England. Like, of course.
Were you the face of your brand at this point?
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course I will. Like, it was just me. It was just me. It was just me behind a laptop. It was just me in co-working spaces or cafes. Like, it was just me. And by building up my personal brand, I started then being asked to come into businesses and like help 3x, 4x their revenue or whatever. And I was like, the hell, me? Like, okay, I have the skill set to do it. Like, of course I will. And that's when everything changed. That's when we went from Big Oak Trees to, okay, Georgia, you are the face of your brand. Not so much now, multiple faces, but at that time I was, which is why I transitioned into Georgia Jasmine Consultancy. And we'll get onto the transition from Georgia Jasmine Consultancy to GJC, right? So we're at Georgia Jasmine Consultancy and it's just me. And I'm doing all these amazing things, working with all these amazing brands. And I realized you have bottlenecked this business. There's only one of you.
Okay.
Right? So you only have so many hours in a day. There's only so many people that you can serve. You cannot scale this. And I had to come to that understanding and realization that you have gone as far as you can go. Yeah, you can inflate your prices and you can put your prices up, but also one of my values is accessibility. So yes, you have to invest, but I'm not one of these consultants that's going to charge you 20 grand a month, right? Depends on the brand, but not your average person. So, I had to really sit down and look at the pain points of my audience. And a lot of the conversation that I was having was around marketing. How do I get my content to convert? How do I show up online? Like, what's a social strategy? Do I really need social media? Do I need to be using LinkedIn? Do I need to be using TikTok? A lot of the conversation was around that. And I was like, okay, I am going to bring in other experts that are experts within their field and start to diversify my services, which means that I can serve more people. I can still do what I love, but the business is scalable. The business is scalable. And I also had to think, well, Georgia Jasmine Consultancy, you are Georgia Jasmine. GJC is a brand. I had to make that jump where people recognize GJC as Georgia, Jess, and Emily, not just Georgia.
Okay. So it's actually their initials.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah. So that was the transition. And now we're at GJC, right? And we're in a place where we're growing tremendously. Big problems. The problems get bigger. As Biggie Smalls says, more money, more problems. The problems get bigger. The situations get more testing, but it overall is very rewarding. And the people that I get to work with, and the brands and the businesses that I get to work with, and the challenges, and we're now able to go. Say a business comes to us and is like, "Okay, we need to rebrand." We can do it all. We can do the business development side of it. We can do the marketing. We can even do your virtual assistants if you need it, right? So it's a whole cohesive 360. I call it a business development consultancy. I have looked and that is not a real thing, but that's what I call it because it's not a marketing agency. It's not just business consultancy. It's like somewhere in the middle. So, yeah. That's the journey.
Now we're getting into the really juicy parts. Okay, so there's two things that I want to go into next. The first one, how can an early stage founder stop themselves from making the wrong hiring decisions?
Oh, you have to hire wrong to hire right. I stand firmly by that. I hired someone and fired them within 30 days. I had to because she wasn't doing her job, right? You have to hire wrong to hire right. 9 times out of 10, people sit in front of me and they go, I want someone just like me. If I could clone me, that would be perfect. No, you do not. You don't want someone just like you. You want someone who doesn't have the skills that you have, right? So when you're hiring, you need to sit and think about, what can't I do? What am I not competent in? And those are the skills I need to look for in somebody else. But you do have to get burnt to know what it is that you actually want. What is it that you actually need? One of my staff members is fresh out of university. I love that. She's moldable. She's hungry. She's passionate. She wants to learn. And I don't understand why all these companies are not giving university graduates opportunities. I don't why would you not want to give a university graduate an opportunity where they will come into your organization and literally be so thirsty for the knowledge that you're giving them?
Right.
You can mold them and shape them into exactly what you need for the bit. Why would you not want that? Right. She is amazing. She's amazing. But you have to make the wrong decisions and make the wrong call. And I think every founder who's hired will be like, oh yeah, when I first hired, I hired wrong. You have to, because it's something that some people hire off emotion. Some people hire, oh, I liked her. Oh, I wanted to give her a chance. Or, and then you realize, no, you have to really have a very stringent, just like you have a customer and client avatar, you need an avatar of what you want in your business. What are your non-negotiables? What are the things that you just absolutely will not tolerate? And as soon as you see them, the questions that you're asking in the interview, it's not just about skill. It is about personality. Are they going to mesh with the team? Are they going to mesh with me? Are they going to mesh with the clients or the customers? What's important to them? What's their driver? Yeah, you have to hire wrong.
Tell me about your 360 approach and how it actually helps clients.
So 9 times out of 10, like I said, people will come to me for business coaching, and we'll sit down and we'll build out their operations and their systems, and maybe they need to streamline their product suite, whether it is product suite in terms of services or actual physical products. And then the question will move on to, okay, now that I've got all of this, how do I sell it? Like, how do I sell it so somebody will buy it? How do I show up online in a way that someone's going to buy it? And that's where we feed into the marketing. Now, marketing is not just social media. Marketing is in real life events. Marketing is collaboration. It's community. It is emails. It's, yes, of course, it's your socials. There's so much that goes into marketing that people just think I can post a couple of Instagram posts and that's marketing. It's not. There's so much more. And that's what we do with the clients. So we'll do activations, product launches, relaunch events, collab events, influencer marketing, partnerships, whatever. We do it all. But then, so we've built the operation, built the systems. The marketing's now doing its thing, so you're making money. 9 times out of 10, then there's a team issue. There's like, okay, capacity issue. I need help hiring. I need help restructuring. Like, okay, now I'm stressed because it's just me and somebody else. Like, how do I start to build out my organizational structure? And that's what we go into when we talk about like team support or hiring support. So the 360 approach is like, okay, we strip it back to the bare bones and we look at how can you build this business sustainably? We then do the branding stuff. So we turn it from a business into a brand through your marketing and your visibility. And then we have the problems that we want, which is we're making money. Now we're kind of having a capacity issue. How can you help us solve that? So 9 times out of 10, it's like a year-long process. Our 360 clients are with us for the duration of a year, sometimes longer, but it just means that we can touch on all of those touch points. And by the end of it, they're like, okay, yeah, we've got problems, but they're problems that I as a founder know how to solve because I've gone through the business coaching. I'm clear on my marketing. I'm clear on who I'm targeting. I'm clear on my brand image. And I can now look at something that, I don't know, my graphic designer sat back and go, no, that doesn't align with the brand. Whereas when they first come to us, anything goes out. As long as it's done, it goes out, right?
Right.
They understand that they do need to invest in real life events. They do need to invest in community. They do need to invest in having good copy on your email marketing and your newsletters, and they know how to run a team. So it's giving them all the tools. You can't just come and get business coaching. You can if you're at the very early stages, or you're already at the stage where I'm running the business. I am really confident with my branding and I've got my team. I, as a founder, need support in XYZ. That's different. But in that messy middle, they either go straight to 360 or they go through the business development into the marketing, and then we end up doing a 360 with them anyway.
Georgia, what advice would you give to someone who's at the start of building their career? This question is from Naeem, who's an actress.
Get a job that allows you to learn. So find a job where, if you're going to work for someone, find a job where the CEO is someone who inspires you, who you hang off their every word, right? If the goal in your career is to eventually build a business, go into the business that you want to build. So say you want to have an aesthetics clinic, go work in a clinic and see how it runs, right? If it is that I'm trying to climb the corporate ladder, instead of going into work and getting frustrated by management, sit and observe them, watch them, like find someone's leadership style that you actually like and enjoy and mimic it and make it your own. That's the best way to build your career in not just a sustainable way, but in a way that you feel purpose from it, right? But if you're trying to build a business, go find a CEO to work for who is just smashing it, killing it, and listen, hear what they're saying. You may not always agree, but try and see the method in their madness. And if you are trying to climb the corporate ladder, instead of, thinking management's this and management's that, yeah, maybe 9 times, sometimes your management is a bit shaky, but find someone who you enjoy their management style, you like the way they run their team, and observe them and hone your craft so that when you're in that position, you can use the skills that you've seen, the skills that you've learned, and be better?
I'm in two minds. I feel like when someone is at the start of their career, they should either focus on what they're really good at and then see what's in demand within the industry they want to go into and hone into that field, or experiment, try lots of different things, develop a lot of transferable skills that you can then take into your own venture later. What are your opinions on those?
I would say that I'm looking at my journey and I'm thinking, well, if I didn't have the transferable skills that I had, I probably wouldn't be sat here talking to you, right? If they're at the start of their career and they're fresh out of uni, yes, like literally lap up as many skills as you can, like learn as much as you can, put your hand, say yes. Say yes more than you say no. I still to this day say yes to as many things as I can because it's opportunities everywhere. You just have to open your eyes. People who come to me who say there's no opportunity or no one's giving me a chance or you're not looking hard enough. You, yes, have standards for yourself, but also say yes. Say yes to something that you might think, oh, I'm not really sure about it. Say yes. If it didn't work out the way that you wanted it to, fine. But you said yes, you tried something new. Push yourself out of your comfort zone. Do things that make you uncomfortable. Be the first person to put their hand up and give a suggestion. Yeah, I think I would agree with the latter. I think having a diverse skill set makes you attractive in the working world. So it could be things like language, right? So people think that, oh, just learning a language or whatever, like learning a language, if you can now say, oh, I can speak French and Chinese, opportunity, right? If, you know, you're front of house receptionist, but you have learned how to do social media or paid ads, and other companies looking for someone to do paid ads, opportunity. Like learn as many skills as you can so that you can say yes to the opportunities when they come up.
On that note of someone being at the start of their career, how do they know that they are built for entrepreneurship?
How do you know? I would say that it's resilience. If you can face tremendous setback, no's, not backs, and get yourself up and keep going, you're made for entrepreneurship. If you can build something out of nothing, or if you can look at something and find a problem, find something that needs solving, you're built for entrepreneurship. Would I say that everybody's built for entrepreneurship? No.
Okay, and why? Why is that?
I think that it's because it takes certain skills that some people just simply do not have, right? And that's not saying that you're not a great employee. You might be a fantastic employee, but you might need somebody to tell you what to do. So you need somebody to say, you need to be at your desk for 9 o'clock. And you will be at that desk for 9 o'clock. But if it's up to you to be at the desk for 9 o'clock for yourself, you won't be there. You'll be there at 9:15. Do you know what I mean? There's like different levels of accountability for yourself that some people just don't have. And that's okay. You're an employee and you make an amazing employee. Some people don't like to problem solve. They want the problem solved for them and then to be told, you need to do X, Y, and Z. So it could be that, you know, a particular product isn't selling and they're in, I don't know, they're in the graphic design department at work. Product's not sold. They don't want to sit there and figure out why it's not sold. They want the founder to come to them or the CMO or whatever to come to them and say, this is not sold because of X, Y, Z. We need you to fix. And they'll go, fine, yeah, I'll do it. But they're not going to sit there and be like, why hasn't that grey jumpsuit sold? I don't know. Maybe we launched it at the wrong time of the year. Maybe the demographic, you know, the colour's not grey, it's burgundy. Maybe they're not thinking about that.
Yeah.
They're not thinking about that. But when you tell them what you need from them, they deliver. That's an employee. And that's why I think that everybody's made for entrepreneurship. And also, if everybody was made for entrepreneurship, everybody will be doing it. It's hard.
Yep.
It is mentally taxing. It's draining. It's challenging. And some people don't like that heat 24/7, simply put.
So what if someone does have that business acumen? They know how to lead, they know how to come up with an idea, and they know how to put it together so that they can solve a problem. But the business isn't scaling. Are they still meant for entrepreneurship?
Yes, of course, but they need support and guidance. And this is where my frustrations come in. But it's partly because the amount of people that I talk to that have been scammed in business coaching is unbelievable. So they'll come to me and say, oh, I invested 15 grand in someone and I never had a call with that person. Like I had a call with that person's assistant. And I'm like, for £15,000? Like, no. And I think that if you've built a product that has, or a service, right, and you've got proof of concept, so you know people want the products or they want the service, so you've made sales, but you can't scale it. It's not that you can't scale it because the products or the service is rubbish. You can't scale it because you don't have the knowledge to scale it. And that's fine because it's your first time, right? And that's why it's like, I use the example, if you're trying to get in the best shape of your life, you're trying to train for high rocks, or I don't know, you're trying to become a bodybuilder, you're going to hire someone who's done it before. They've been on the field and they've played the game. They know what's coming. They know that at times you're going to be so hungry and they know how to help you combat that, right? It's the same with business. If you hit a point where you're stagnating and you can't push past that stagnation, find somebody to help you. And it doesn't even have to be a business coach. Find a mentor. Go and seek somebody who has done what you want to do and ask them ever so politely, will you mentor me? 9 times out of 10, they'll go either yes, but these are the amount of hours I've got, or they'll go, I don't have capacity now, but try me in 6 months, right? So it's not always, you can't use the excuse that, oh, in business, my business isn't doing well, I don't have the money to invest. Well, find other means. There are people out there who will help you. You just have to ask.
Okay, so what about the people that struggle with pricing? Because when I started, I struggled a lot with pricing. And that made me feel like, okay, am I meant for this? And am I doing things the right way? I felt like I had to start off charging low so that I could attract more people. And me starting off low would then help the business to scale. Then I could start charging higher. So when someone's at that early stage, how do they deal with pricing?
You have to remove yourself from the pricing. I actually spoke about this recently at, on a panel talk. Pricing, what you find at the start of people's journey is that they price their business in accordance to how they value themselves in the business. You and the business are separate, right? So whatever your perceived value is of yourself, so I'm only just starting out coaching, or I've only just got my aesthetics certification. Like, I can't be charging £250 for Botox. I'm going to charge £80 for Botox, right? Because I'm new. That's your own imposter syndrome, and that's for you. You need to deal with that. The pricing of the business is based upon what is the product or the service that you're offering, what's industry average, and where are you going to position it. Pricing is a tool. It's not a reflection on what you think of yourself. It's not a reflection on where you're at. It's a tool. So it's like you use the excuse of, well, if I price myself lower, it gives an easier entry point, and then I can try and retain as much cash as I can, and I can scale. No, you know why? Because those people that you're going to attract that are at the lower end of the spectrum, so the cheaper price point, are the people who 9 times out of 10 will give you the most problems. They're not going to pay on time. They won't actually value, particularly if it's in an investment. So if it's a tangible investment, so I don't know, I'm spending £40 and I'm getting this top. You can't argue with that. What you can argue with is, I'm giving you £40 for an hour and I felt like I didn't get anything out of that hour, right? And if someone isn't used to exchanging their money for something that they're not going to see straight away. So like investing in stocks, you invest your money into stocks, you're not going to see an instant return. You might actually lose before you gain, right? If they haven't invested in property, if there's no investment, they don't understand investment. 9 times out of 10, that entry point, they don't, right? Mm-hmm. And that's where the problems come. That's where the clients that sit in front of me that say, oh my God, I'm having so many issues. I ask them, okay, what's the price point of these clients? They'll say like, oh, it's £100, it's 100.
That's the issue.
That's the issue. That's the problem right there, right? You're expecting high commitment from a low commitment price point. You're not going to get it. Your clients who are paying you upwards of £1,000, easy breezy, because there's a high commitment price point and they're highly committed people. And to invest over £1,000 into business consultancy or marketing support, or even for argument's sake, aesthetics, nails, whatever, hair, they've invested before. That's not their first time parting with cash. They understand money's a currency. I have to let go for it to come back to me. So for you, but for the people that resonate with what you have just said, being in the early stage of your journey and then being like, oh, I'm going to start as cheap as I can just to attract people. Know that, number one, perceived value is real. I always use the analogy. I mean, Primark isn't even that cheap anymore, but back in the day when it was cheap, if you bought a top from Primark, you weren't expecting it to withstand like 20 washes. Mm-hmm. It might shrink. It might come out with like a little rip. The colour might drain. It's fine because it cost you £5, right? If you go to COS and you buy a top, you're expecting that top to withstand the washes because of the perceived value, right? Mm-hmm. It's the same thing. If you are charging way below industry average for something, the perceived value is, I'm not going to get what I paid for. And I've seen it with clients. I had a particular client who was investing in a content creator that I recommended. I know she's fantastic at what she does, but there's a confidence thing there, right? She's fantastic at what she does, but she didn't have the confidence to charge her worth. And she was relatively cheap. And my client came back to me and was like, Georgia, if you hadn't recommended her, there was no way that I was going to hire her, because why is she so cheap? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. I'm not going to get what I paid for. And people don't think of it like that, that if you charge a very, very low price, alarm bells go off in people's head who are serious about whatever it is that they're investing their money into. They think, well, there has to be a catch. Like, what's the catch? Right? So in answer to your question, going back, if you're struggling with pricing, remove yourself. Whatever confidence issues, imposter syndrome, anything like that that's going on personally, that's a separate thing that you have to deal with. But your pricing is a tool for your business, and you have to look at it as in, what will the perceived value be at the price point that I'm entering in at? Is it equitable to the customer, and is it reciprocal for me? So will I be able to cover my costs and live? If the answer is no, then you need to up your pricing. And also, like, what is everybody else charging? What's industry average? Because that's important as well. So many people come to me and say, I can't price. Like, I don't know how to price myself. And 9 times out of 10, it just comes from self-worth. It comes from how do you value yourself? And they're putting that value or lack of onto their business, and then they have this like vicious cycle of like, well, I don't think I'm worth it, so I'm not going to charge it. The business isn't making any money, so I feel like I'm not worth it, so I'm not going to charge. It's just cyclical.
So how can someone deal with objections to their pricing point?
If someone can't afford you, then find people who can, right? Not everything's for everybody. In the office, we were talking about, I don't know the influencers' names, but they've just come out with like robes and candles and
I think I've seen them.
Sophia and I can't remember. One of the girls in work was telling me about it and how there was uproar with their pricing. And I was like, if you can't afford it, don't buy it. Don't buy it. Like, it's that simple. Don't discount. Don't discount. Don't discount unless, and there's a big unless. It's a big, big unless. And actually, I'm going to say don't discount full stop. If you're at the start of your journey, don't discount full stop. have it as a hard and fast rule. As you grow and you mature in your business, know when to discount. Like, for instance, if I really believe in someone's business, as in I really believe in their business acumen, the idea, like what they've built so far, but they're strapped, cash flow, they're strapped, and they say, Georgia, I can't afford this, but I can afford this, and I'm going to give you 110%. Like, I will dedicate myself, I'll discount on the odd occasion. But that's because my pricing isn't attached to my worth. I know I'm worth every single penny of what I charge. Me discounting isn't me saying I'm not worth it. It's me saying, I'll help you out. It's a difference, right?
Yeah, there is a difference.
But I don't think that you should get hung up on chasing people who can't afford you. Not everyone can afford a Louis Vuitton handbag. Louis Vuitton isn't discounting their pricing so everybody can afford one, right? It's the same thing. I think people think, like, especially when they're starting, you get an inquiry and they can't afford it, and you're like, oh, I may as well just get the money. If you start as you mean to go on, you won't run into the challenges later on, right? If you start with like hard and fast rules of I'm not discounting, or my price is my price and my value is my value, and I'm charging this because I know what I offer is worth it, then you won't run into the issues of cash flow issues or not being able to scale the business because you physically can't, because there's only so many hours in the day or only so many customers you can serve or clients you can serve, and you've priced it so cheaply that you're actually not making any money.
Right.
The question then is like, well, okay, if you're telling me don't discount, Georgia, if you're telling me don't discount, then how do I attract the people that can afford me?
Right.
How can I attract the people? And it's different. I mean, I guess the crux of it is the same, but it's different for different industries. So if you're a coach and you're wanting to attract higher ticket clients, so clients that have got more money to play with, you are going to want to attract businesses that are already generating, founders that are already generating, right? So your language needs to change. So instead of talking about how to make your first £5,000, you're now talking about how to increase your revenue from £8,000 to £16,000, or how to go from 10K to 20K, right? Your language changes. Also, a really big one is like acronyms. Don't over explain. If you're using acronyms that people don't understand, they're not your target audience, right? So I often do that. I actually did a post recently where I was breaking down certain acronyms so that, yes, it was an educational thing, but it was also showing my level of expertise and knowledge that some people would be like, I didn't even know what that meant. Okay, subconsciously, you know that Georgia is, that's not the target audience that GJC attracts, right?
Yeah.
So your language and your verbiage, how you show up. So if you're the face of your business, how you show up online or in your marketing material is important. Nobody can tell you it's not important. If you want somebody to hand over £5,000 of their hard-earned money, best believe they're looking at professionalism. They're looking at how you show up. They're looking at how you present your business. Because if you walk past a shop and the shop window's a mess, why would you go in there and spend your money?
Right.
Your social media is your shop window. And if you're showing up a mess, you're not showing up, dress how you want to be addressed. Leave it there, full stop.
Literally. I'm so happy that we're having this conversation because I feel like it's in London, UK, people struggle with pricing properly and people have an issue with other people's prices.
Yeah.
But in America, they will tell you, why the fuck are you charging so low?
Yes, they will. They will. I have American clients, and I know the coaching industry, right? The coaching consultancy industry. And when I had my discovery call with her, she was like, my pricing isn't cheap, right? But she was like, for America, that is like way below what we pay for coaching and consultancy. People in the UK, the US is a different demographic altogether, right? My husband spent the vast majority of his life in New York, and he was the one who said to me, actually, like, the coaching industry in America is completely different to what it is here in the UK. Like, it's an untapped market for UK coaches. But in the UK, it is we're skeptical. We're skeptics. We're skeptical of everything, right? Like, okay, if I spend $1,000, am I actually going to get what I pay for? Like, what's her credentials? Like, yeah. In America, it's how you present, what you show up as is what they take for face value. In the UK, it's not that. We want more. We need to know. And I think, do you know why? It's because in the UK, it's harder to fake it. I would say it's harder to fake it in the UK. In the US, it's very easy to fake it. And I didn't realize in the US how easy it was to fake it in terms of like success. They live on credit. They live on credit. In the UK, you have a bad credit score. Nobody's giving you anything.
Right,
you are not getting a car on finance. You're not getting a 80 grand bank loan. You're not getting a 10,000 pound limit on your credit card. It's not happening, right? So it's harder to fake success. If you are doing well in the UK, it's very obvious, right? And if you're not, it also is obvious. And I think that's why we're a bit more like, well, I need to see more, because it is so cut and dry. Whereas in the US, they take everything for face value. Everything for face value. Like, and the American dream, as I was talking about this with someone else, it's a real thing. It's a real thing. Like, they sell dreams. It's the land of like dream selling. They sell you dreams. Like, you can become a millionaire overnight. That's why the coaching industry is just huge over there.
Yeah.
But I think that in the UK, the landscape is shifting very much in the sense of pricing, because now people are realizing that things are getting more expensive, and if things are getting more expensive and you're running a business, you don't actually have to justify your pricing to anybody. The right people will come and find you, and the right people will pay. And you have to give people a reason to pay, right? So like, going back to like the professionalism, dress how you want to be addressed, like, take yourself seriously.
Yeah.
Let your word be your word. Let your no mean no and your yes mean yes. Professionalism is a big thing. And I think if we were going to get into a deep conversation, it's professionalism that then makes people distrust as a whole, which then leads into that, I don't want to pay the prices, right? So it's like, it's that thing of a set few are ruining it for everybody, right? So if people are having these consistent situations where they're being let down on professionalism or let down on service or quality, there will then become that kind of pushback on somebody who may be professional and they may show up and they may be brilliant at their job, but they've been burnt, right?
Love that. Let's end with something fun.
Okay.
Game round. It's called If This, Then That.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to read out scenarios. You're going to say, if this, what you're going to do. You get fired from your job. What are you going to do?
What am I going to do?
It's a quick, snappy...
Okay. What am I going to do? I am going to, I'd start a business. I'd look at what am I good at? What's something that I can monetize? I wouldn't start a business. I'd start a side hustle. And from the side hustle, I'd start a business.
Your other half ends the relationship.
Oh, he would never. Move on, honey. Move on. Don't. Yeah, I'd be upset. I'd be devastated. It's my marriage. But I would keep it pushing, and I would also I wouldn't allow my self-worth to be defined by the end of the relationship.
You receive low traction on social media.
And carry on posting.
Your business fails.
Start again. Take the lessons. Take the learning. Look back. I'd probably take myself away somewhere, and I would spend time literally looking back on it like it was a story. Take myself out of it and look back on it like I was reading a book, and look for the lessons, take the lessons, take the learning, and go again. It takes, on average, for someone to make their first million, they have like 3 or 4 failed businesses. Go again. Don't let one failure stop you from succeeding.
I love this. I'm so happy you joined me today, Georgia.
so am
I feel
I.
like you have a lot of knowledge on business. Yes, it's so hard to find people in the UK that have this amount of knowledge in business. Tell people where they can find you and what's next.
Okay, so you can find me at georgiajasmineconsultancy.com, Jasmine no E, and you can find me at Georgia Jasmine Consultancy, Jasmine no E on Instagram. What's next? What's next? What's next? Who knows? I am very much in an era of just loving where the business is at and where it's going. I don't know what's next. And I actually really enjoy that. I think when everything's really planned, you can plan and plan and plan and plan and plan, and it won't go to plan. So for me, it's very much just continuing to grow, continuing to work with incredible brands, continuing to serve the needs of my community and the people that are around me, and just saying yes. If anyone takes anything from this, say yes. I said yes to this. Say yes. Say yes to opportunities. Say yes to conversations. Say yes to meeting new people. Say yes to doing things that might scare you a little bit. Just say yes, because you don't know where the yes is going to lead to.
And on a closing note, if you had to give one piece of advice to any woman who wants to leave employment and enter entrepreneurship, what's that advice?
I would say don't quit your job on an emotional basis. So don't rage quit, right? Have a plan. Have a plan. Know your exit strategy. Build in silence. Not everybody needs to know your business. Build in silence. Have an exit strategy. And know how much money it's going to take you to actually tide yourself over for the next 6 months. Don't when you build a business based upon the pressure of wanting to quit a job, 9 times out of 10 it doesn't succeed. Why? Because you're focused only on the financials. You're focused on like money. I want to make money. How can I make money? And you're not focused on the service you're providing, the product. Like, you're not focused on innovation. You're not focused on getting better or being better or providing a better service or a better product, better experience. And when I get people who come to me and say, I want to quit my job, I go, I can't work with you. And the reason I can't work with you is because you're going to expect mountains to be moved in 6 months. Building business takes time. Building a brand that has credibility and trust behind it takes time. Have an exit plan. Don't rage quit. That would be my advice.